Hello, friends. Welcome into College Football Now. I am Tom Downey. That is Harrison Graham. We want you guys to predict the college football playoff teams this year. There's 4. That's how it tends to work out in the college football playoff. So let us know in the comments your 4 predicted teams. And while you're doing that, get ready because we're going to break down our updated college football playoff projections as things sit right now. All right, we are going 25-1 at 25 Harrison, Appalachian State, because they might be undefeated, but they played nobody.
How about App State getting on the map back in 2007, obviously with that win over Michigan? Ever since then, slowly gotten better as a program. They are Division I.
I'm being told in my ear that James Yoder, head of the Michigan Football Report here, wants to see you at 5 a.m. for a meeting. I don't know what it's about. But
I'll be here at 5:30. But App State 6-0, undefeated, looking great this year. Not going to be a playoff team, but certainly in the mix for the New Year's Six.
All right, number 24, Wake Forest. They are 6-1, but the schedule and it's Wake. It's not that great.
They gave up 62 to Louisville, Tom.
Is that a lot?
6-1's a nice record. Not a great team. They've benefited from who they've played.
They are behind number 23, the Virginia Cavaliers. The loss in Notre Dame is acceptable. The Miami one, though.
Yeah, it didn't show up on the road down at Miami. 5-2, they'll be in the mix for the ACC, but that conference feels like Clemson and nobody else.
Another 2-loss team here, the Arizona State Sun Devils. They actually have the 33rd best strength of schedule in college football right now.
Yeah, tough loss at Utah last week, and that was kind of a win, and you're still a live game, and Utah won it, and Arizona State did not.
Herm's probably going to have them bowling this year. At number 21, we continue our streak of 2-loss teams. Iowa State. This might surprise you guys. They're actually 21st in strength of schedule.
They've lost 2 games by 4 points.
That's close.
Or by 3 points, actually. They lost by 2 to Baylor, lost by 1 to Iowa.
Both ranked teams.
They're a play here or there away from being 7-0. They're a nice team. Matt Campbell's got it going in October yet again.
Don't have those ranked wins to get them any higher, though. We'll stick in the same state. Iowa itself up next for the Hawkeyes at 20.
Oh, guess what? They lost to Iowa, or they beat Iowa State. That's why they're at number 20.
That's how things work, AP poll.
Yeah, 2 ranked losses to Penn State and Michigan, Iowa. Typical team under Kirk Ferentz.
Oh, you mentioned Michigan. They are next up at number 19, a pair of ranked losses. Wisconsin, which no longer looks as good. We'll get to them later on. And Penn State as well.
Yeah, very similar resume to Iowa and beat Iowa head-to-head. That's why they're sitting at number 19. Thought they played pretty well last weekend at Penn State. Just started a little bit too slow. That's why they lost that one.
Number 18, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Their only loss is to Ohio State. They have the 44th strength of schedule. They're a low-key good group of 5 team.
Yeah, for a group of 5 team, they have a nice schedule. The problem is the way they lost to Ohio State, Tom. But otherwise, they've been impressive. They beat UCF. They've gotten off to a good start under Luke Fickell this year.
Number 17, SMU. They are undefeated. What's holding them back from being in the top 15? We've seen it time and time again with the committee, the strength of schedule.
Yeah, schedule's not there. TCU's not doing them any favors this year. They're having a down season over there in Fort Worth. Nice win over Temple on Saturday, and they blew them out. A solid group of 5 team in Temple, but they just don't have the win that's going to wow you on the schedule. Just got to keep piling wins, and hopefully they get some help down the road.
Number 16, the Texas Longhorns, a great strength of schedule, Harrison.
Yeah, strength of schedule is there. The problem is, God almighty, Kansas. I mean, Kansas outplayed them in Austin last week, and anybody watch that? It was brutal to watch, and they haven't beaten anybody. The schedule's good, but they haven't beaten the 2 teams that they have played as of yet.
That's why they're only 16, not a little bit higher. That could change if they get a couple of nice wins here down the stretch. Well, you see Michigan there. They're number 19. They are hosting number 8 in the AP poll, at least Notre Dame. Here's my question. Why is Michigan favorite, Harrison?
Maybe people aren't as impressed with Notre Dame because
their
one loss is to Georgia, who has not been great the last few weeks. Michigan, it's at home. It's a night game. They played better last week. I could see them winning this game, but yeah, I'm not sure they should be favored in this one, Tom.
All right, well, you guys let us know in the comments who you've got. Type M for Michigan, N for Notre Dame. At home, maybe you want to go with the Wolverines there. All right, number 15, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, Harrison. They're undefeated, but the strength of schedule is kind of holding it back.
Yeah, look, PJ Fleck's doing a great job up there. First couple of years, I think college football fans in general were skeptical about how that was going to go. He was 12-13. This year he has them 7-0. Yeah, the schedule hasn't challenged them, but 7-0 is 7-0, and they'll have opportunities in the coming weeks to prove themselves.
Number 14, they take a big-time tumble. 1 week after I said Wisconsin was for real, lose to Illinois.
Yikes. I tried telling you guys in the office for weeks, no one's challenging Ohio State in the Big Ten. Wisconsin proved that when they could not take down the Lovie Smith, Santa Claus, whatever you want to call
So
them.
you're saying Illinois is going to challenge Ohio State?
I'm not saying that. Wisconsin does not have good quarterback play. That's been their problem for years. That was a bad loss, Tom.
Well, both Wisconsin and our number 13 team have a top 25 win, but Utah's got the better strength of schedule by almost 20, or over 20, excuse me. They're 6-1. They look pretty good right now.
Keep an eye on Utah. We've talked the last couple of weeks. They did lose to USC, which is not a great loss, but they played really well since then. Kyle Whittingham's got it rolling on down there. They might win the Pac-12.
Number 12, Baylor. They are undefeated, Harrison. What do you make of them? Do you buy them or
I think people are slowly starting to buy in. I'm not sold, but that was an impressive win in Stillwater over a talented team, 45-27. It was kind of a back-and-forth game before they took control late in that game. I'll be curious to see when they play an OU or a Texas how they stack up. Off to a good start under Matt Rule.
What do you think of the now having a top 25 win over Iowa State?
That obviously helps. I mean, I think that's why we jumped them up. I think we had them 18th or 19th last week. They get that top 25 win now in Iowa State. And, we got them at number 12 at 7-0.
And then you see number 11 there, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They don't really have that legitimate win. They have Virginia, which isn't an AP top 25 win, but it kind of sort of is. They're right on the precipice there. How much do you believe in the Fighting Irish?
Not sure. Got to see them play Michigan on Saturday, who I think is starting to play better. But what might hurt them as well is if they beat Michigan, that may no longer be a top 25 win, because that would be Michigan's third loss. But they just got to keep on winning games and hope they can get a little help in front of them.
Is there a team, and everyone watching both live on Facebook and on YouTube Premiere, is there a team inside this top 15 that you think can make a big jump in to the CFP race?
I think Utah's got the easiest path. I put that in air quotes because no path is easy, but I think the Pac-12 is much more manageable than the other conferences represented on screen. Again, I don't think Wisconsin challenges Ohio State this week. We'll see when they stack up. Minnesota, I'm not a believer yet. And Baylor's good, but do we really think they can beat Oklahoma? That would surprise me. And I'm not sure about Notre Dame's schedule stacking up.
We will break down the undefeated teams and their paths. Of course, I'll make note, Baylor and Minnesota, if those teams win out, they'll be okay. They'll get in. Of course, do we expect them to win out?
No, but we will see in the coming weeks.
I don't really think that's the case there. So Minnesota's 15, Wisconsin's 14, Utah's 13, Baylor's 12, and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they check in at number 11. All right, folks, download the MyTV Choice app today. Get rid of commercials during major college football games. For example, that Michigan-Notre Dame game. Don't have those on anymore. Instead, connect your phone to your smart TV. Download the app. It's free, by the way, at chatsports.com/mytv. The app knows when commercials comes on, sends videos like from us here at Chat Sports right to your TV. So instead of that god-awful free phone football commercial.
Yeah, that
it's
one.
Terrible.
I'm tired of these stupid dating ads.
That one too.
Get content from us here at Chat Sports.
Download today. It's chatsports.com/mytv. It is free to download. Number 10, the Georgia Bulldogs. They're still kind of trying to recover from that South Carolina loss.
God, did you watch them against Kentucky
Why
at all?
throw the football?
Kentucky literally doesn't have a quarterback. They're playing a receiver at quarterback
great.
right now, and that game was scoreless midway through the third quarter. Yeah. Jake Fromm's a fraud. Georgia looks like a fraud. They got to get on track quickly, otherwise they're going to get rolled by Florida in a couple weeks.
Number 9, another 6-1 team. It is the Oregon Ducks that lost to Auburn. Had they won that game, I'd be talking about Oregon in the top 5, top 4?
Yeah, I mean top 3, 4, or 5 because you'd have a couple of ranked wins. Nice win over Washington.
Which is not ranked for now.
That's true. They lost that. Washington's out of the top 25, but that's a solid team they beat. Justin Herbert played his best game of the year. Quite frankly, so did Jacob Eason. I'm impressed with Oregon right now.
Given who's at number 9, number 8 should not surprise you here. The Auburn Tigers, they won that head-to-head matchup.
Yeah, and that's the difference right there. You know, Oregon, we'll talk about paths to the playoff here in a little bit, but they certainly need Auburn to drop a game because if it comes down to those two, Auburn's going to get the nod.
And then number 7, because of head-to-head matchups, the Florida Gators, Harrison.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Florida. Started a little slow last week against South Carolina, but big rally in the fourth quarter. They have a nice little resume right now. They control their destiny in the SEC.
All right, guys, do you want more college football coverage live on Facebook, on YouTube as well? Then I want you guys to like this video. Let the bosses here know that you guys want that college football coverage and you like it and you enjoy it. Like that video. and we can do more stuff for you here on Chat Sports, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, before we get into the top 6, you might have figured out, okay, which teams are here, because, process of elimination and all that. Harrison, in the past, we've done groups of 3 here for our blind resumes. This time around, though, I wanted to do a group of 4 because there's not a ton of separation here.
No, there's not. I mean, you look at this across the board, the strength of schedules are within 10 spots among those 4 teams. Obviously, Team 1 stands out with the 2 top 25 wins. Strength of record, pretty even there. Obviously, Team 2 at number 2 in that category, but they don't have a top 25 win. So how do you balance this out? I think based on that blind resume, Team 1 is clearly the top one out of those 4, but you can make an argument for 2 through 4 on who should come in the pecking order. Team 1 would obviously get the nod from me, though.
All right, we'll go back to this in a second, but first, guys, pick your team in the comment section. Is it Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, and Team 4? Also remind everybody, you can't just base it off of strength of schedule based on last week. That changes every single week. For example, Minnesota, as we mentioned earlier, they had their strength of schedule go down because they played Rutgers.
Yeah, exact.ly.
Even funny how things work.
If you beat Rutgers by 80 points, doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, so here they are again one more time. Team 1 has those two top 25 wins, but they're only 47 strength of schedule. Team 2, good strength of record, but no top 25. Strength of schedule is not that good. Team 3 has the top 25 win. Team 4 actually has the best strength of schedule among those.
I would probably go 1, 3, 2, 4 based on the blind resume. That's how I would.
All right, so here they are. Team 1, Penn State. Maybe a bit of a surprise, but they did just take down Michigan. Alabama, their Team 2. Oklahoma's Team 3. And then Clemson checks in at Team 4.
And this is interesting, Tom, because, yes, Penn State has 2 top 25 wins in Michigan and in Iowa, but they, I don't want to say struggled in both of those, but didn't exactly pull away in either of those games. And how good are Michigan and Iowa? I mean, they're good wins, don't get me wrong, but it's not like they beat top 10 teams there. They have 2 solid wins. So that's why the blind resume thing can be a bit deceiving at times. Whereas, I think Oklahoma's win over Texas, granted Texas did not play well last week, is better than either of those wins Penn State has. So you balance it out, it's kind of tricky, but 2 top 25 wins certainly stands out there for Penn State.
Well, then let's say those teams are at number 1. Last week it was LSU, Ohio State. Who could end up being number 1 this week? Both these teams, Harrison, I think have looked fantastic this year against every team they've played.
Yeah, I mean, metric-wise, you could really go either way. AP poll has LSU number 2, Ohio State number 3, because they're lazy and they keep Alabama at number 1. That is fake news. LSU has 2 top 25 wins. Ohio State has the 1. You're picking and choosing here. I think you could go either way. I would lean LSU with the extra top 25 win, but you could certainly sway me the other way.
Apologies to Alabama fans and Clemson fans and Penn State fans and OU and the Baylor fan that I'm sure is watching. Which team is best? Let us know in the comments section. Obviously, type OSU for Ohio State or LSU for the LSU Tigers. Louisiana State, if you're more formal, for example. Let us know what you guys think there in the comments section. And now we'll break down our top 6. Again, this is as things sit right now. If the CFP committee were revealing their top 25 at number 1, still number 1, the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, and I mean, there's really been no reason to drop him. Joe Burrow's having an insane season. I think he's completing like 79.5% of his passes. That would shatter the college football completion record. He is playing fantastic. 2 top 25 wins. They are certainly worthy of that number 1 ranking.
Number 2, the Ohio State Buckeyes. That Cincinnati win all of a sudden continues to look pretty solid, and maybe they can change the narrative if they're able to take down Wisconsin, make it a little bit more competitive.
And here's the deal, like, when your schedule doesn't stack up, blow out your opponents. That's what they've done. And, they have mediocre to decent wins, at Nebraska, Michigan State. Those aren't bad wins. They're Power 5 wins. They blew the doors off Cincinnati, who looks like possibly the best group of 5 team in the country. So Ohio State, Justin Fields, those boys are rolling. They're going to be right there at the end.
We have a new number 3. Penn State climbs up several spots into the top 6. The Nittany Lions have 2 top 25 wins. They have a better strength of schedule than both Alabama and Oklahoma. Look, something has to give at some point between number 2 and number 3, but both these teams playing really well right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think if these 2 teams played on a neutral field, I would lean Ohio State by 10 or so
Yeah.
points. But Penn State's taking care of business. They've made plays when they've had to. It hasn't always been the prettiest, but the results are what they are, and they're 7-0.
Hey, by the way, watch out for Pitt being a top 25 win in the coming weeks
absolutely.
for the Nittany Lions. Number 4, Alabama. They dropped down 1 spot. The strength of schedule overall is not that bad, but they haven't been challenged yet.
Yeah, 5 Power 5 wins, but none of them ranked. Texas A&M was ranked at the time.
Doesn't count now.
It doesn't count now, so, schedule's going to play out in front of them. LSU, Alabama in a few weeks should be exciting. Plus, keep an eye on Tua with the ankle. He's going to miss this week. We'll see long-term how it plays out. They think he'll be good to go for that LSU game, but keep an eye on that as well.
Oklahoma, they check in at number 5. They remain just slightly 1 spot behind Alabama. That top 25 win over Texas is helping them.
Yeah, we debated 3 through 5 quite a bit, actually, because
3 through 6,
tight. I think eye test, Bama is the best of OU, Alabama, and Penn State, but Penn State has the wins, and OU's kind of in the middle, but we've got them at number 5.
And then Clemson checks in at number 6. They have that A&M win. I'll remind you, Bama's A&M win was on the road, unlike Clemson's. I think that's a big factor there. They're still waiting for a true top 25 team, unless A&M's able to claw back into it.
I'll be frank, I think they're bored. The schedule doesn't stack up. They don't look super fired up to play.
Lawrence is forcing too many passes.
7 picks for Trevor Lawrence. They have not looked great. They certainly want to play better, but no one's going to challenge them. By the time November, December rolls around, I expect them to play a lot better.
Clemson, Oklahoma Bama fans, if you don't like where you're at, here's the good news. All you got to do is win.
Yes.
If you are a major Power 5 team and you are undefeated right now, your path to the playoff is actually pretty simple, Harrison. Win your games.
The only time a Power 5 team that's undefeated doesn't control their own destiny is if Notre Dame is also undefeated.
Yes.
And that is not the case right now. LSU, Ohio State, Penn State, Baylor, Minnesota, Bama, OU, Clemson. All those teams have to do, if you win out, you're in. Very simple. SMU is unbeaten as well as a group of 5 team. We know how the G5 goes among the playoff committee, Tom. They're going to have to win out and get a lot of help, and we love you, App State, but it's just not going to happen.
They're just not going to get
Great story, though.
Awesome story. So who's the next undefeated team to lose, Harrison, do you think? Ohio State, Wisconsin, you're all aboard the Badgers, I know.
Nah,
Sarcasm.
Yeah, not going to happen. I'll go it's not going to be Minnesota. I think they play Maryland this week?
They have Maryland,
They're going to beat Maryland. That's a tough one. I'll go Baylor.
Does Penn State, Michigan State scare you at all?
No.
Okay.
I think Baylor's actually off this. I don't think any of those teams lose this week. I'll say that. I don't know who the first to lose is. I don't think it'll be any of those.
Well, keep those comments coming. These are the undefeated teams left right now. I'll remind everybody as well that App State plays South Alabama. Maybe that could be. It's a road game. Possible upset. I don't know. SMU's schedule overall, they've got Houston. It is a Thursday game.
If Derek King was playing, I would actually lean Houston in that game on the road on a Thursday night.
App State's here by 26.5 against South Alabama. Maybe it is another wait.
Yeah, I think these teams are in the clear for.
Or maybe there will be an upset, but let us know what you guys think there in the comments section. Now, you guys like watching college football. Otherwise, first off, who doesn't? You're a crazy person if you don't. But I'm sure you don't like the commercials. And for example, if you're going to watch, say, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, download the MyTV Choice app, chatsports.com/MyTV. Download today. It is completely free to download. It will get rid of commercials for you. Connect it with your smart TV, and the app knows when commercials come on, and it sends you awesome videos instead, like Chat Sports videos, for example. Download today, chatsports.com/MyTV. Those were the undefeated teams. The one-loss teams. There is still a path, and I think in particular, Harrison, the SEC, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, if they win out and they take down other SEC teams along the way, a one-loss SEC team is going to get in. We've seen it before.
Well, not only that, Tom, in those scenarios, out of those 3 teams, if they win out, that means they also win the conference. A one-loss SEC champ is getting in, period. End of story. So those 3 control their own destiny. These needs help category, I'll say this. Wisconsin, Oregon, Utah. If those 3 win out, I'm not sure about Notre Dame. If those 3 win out, they need help. I don't know if they need a ton of help, especially Wisconsin being in the Big Ten, because that means they will have beaten Ohio State twice. If they do that, it's going to be hard to leave them out of the playoff. There's a scenario where they wouldn't get in, where Clemson, Oklahoma, SEC champ, and something else
Actually,
happens.
Wisconsin might want kind of SEC elimination. Like if there's a
Cannibalize.
one-loss Bama and a one-loss LSU, and someone else or one of them wins the SEC, I think Wisconsin might be left out. Now, if you guys have watched Chat Sports before, you know I am all aboard Team Chaos. I love it. I want all of the upsets. It's awesome for college football. So who's your Team Chaos pick? That team you're going to keep cheering for that needs some help to get in, but you want to see the chaos of them getting in the CFP.
I'd love to see Utah make the playoff.
Okay.
I mean, under the radar program. Kyle Whittingham's been there for a long time, consistently a top 25 type of team. He's never quite been able to get to that next level, though, Tom. Is this the year? I think it's possible. Obviously, they got to keep on winning games and get a lot of help, but Utah would be my Team Chaos pick. I'd like to see
That's a coward cop-out pick there by Harrison. If you want true Team Chaos, I got two for you. First off, Cincinnati, I know you're not going to get in, but keep winning games. That's fun. What happens if Ohio State routes everybody they play?
Doesn't matter.
SEC has a bunch of losses, and then UC's got one. It's a reach. I know it's not going to happen, but it's fun. And then the real pick here, how about Wake Forest? What if Wake Forest runs the table, takes down Clemson?
See, that actually, the committee would have something to think about there because they're a Power 5 team, and they will have beaten Clemson twice, I believe, along the way.
It's fun times there. So those are your one-loss teams. If you missed it earlier, we'll take you back through our projected CFP rankings right now. App State's number 25, Wake's number 24, Virginia's number 23. Again, App State's undefeated, but Harrison, their schedule was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're hoping to be that New Year's Six group of 5 team. So they need SMU to lose. They need probably Cincinnati to lose a second time. They're going to need some help, but certainly they've done great things down at that program.
And the committee historically does not like those small school programs. Arizona State, they're number 22. Iowa State is number 21. Inside the top 20, then, Iowa's 20. Michigan's 19. Cincinnati's 18. SMU is 17. And Texas is number 16. Harrison, what jumps out to you on this list?
The SMU-Cincinnati battle. I think those are the two teams that stand out for the New Year's Six among the group of 5 teams, especially SMU beaten unbeaten. Not a believer in Michigan or Iowa. Texas really took a step back in my mind because last week we were like, oh, they've got the good loss resume. Then you almost lose at home to Kansas. I'm not sure about where they are right now. That defense has problems, so keep an eye on those group of 5 programs.
Remember, Notre Dame is going on the road this week to take on Michigan. The Wolverines are actually the favorites by 1 in this one, Harrison.
I'm looking to not come in at 5 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm picking Michigan. I'm doing it, Yoder. You heard it here. Give me the Wolverines. I think Harbaugh picks up a good win. These fake news, he's going to leave rumors. I'm not here for it. I think Jim Harbaugh, Shea Patterson has a big game. I think they find a way to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame has only played 1 game so far. They lost to Georgia. I think Michigan gets a big win on Saturday.
All right, let us know in the comments section then, folks. ND for Notre Dame and M for Michigan. Harrison's going with the Wolverines. This is one of those, wait a minute, spreads. Why is Michigan favored? It's weird. Therefore,
Ann Arbor at night. I don't know what to tell you.
Therefore, you take the Wolverines. An extra pro tip here, I'd watch this spread. I would pay attention to how this spread moves. You can do that with the Action Network. Download it today, chatsports.com/deal. They are the best app out there for tracking bets, tracking live movements. 40% off with that URL, chatsports.com/deal. Even better pro tip, pay attention and see, okay, well, you got 60% of the public bets are here, but wait, only 51% of the money? That means the sharps are going in a different direction. You can do all of that and more on the Action Network. Download it today at chatsports.com/deal. In the top 15, then a pair of Big Ten teams here, Harrison, Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in Wisconsin's case, tough loss to Illinois last week. That is not what you're looking for when you're trying to build a playoff resume. Probably we're looking ahead to this week's game against Ohio State. Minnesota, 7-0. Schedule has not stacked up yet, but we will see in the coming weeks.
Utah's there 6-1. Baylor's 7-0. Notre Dame, we mentioned them, they're 5-1. But let's focus in on the Wisconsin Badgers here. Wisconsin going on the road against Ohio State. You got the Buckeyes big in this one?
Yeah, I do. I will say this: if you're Wisconsin, if you do somehow pull the upset,
you're right back in it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right back in the mix, and I think that win outweighs the loss to Illinois, as weird as that sounds. If you can go into Columbus and beat them, that is huge. They will jump back into the top 10, maybe in the top 7 or 8. I just don't see it, though. The speed Ohio State has, this defense they have, is probably the best they've had in quite some time.
All right, so let us know who you guys have this week in Columbus, Ohio State or Wisconsin. I venture to say we're going to be seeing plenty of O's in here, Harrison, because, why not? Or why wouldn't we?
I just think Ohio State's such a complete team. They might be the most complete team in college football.
All right, the top 10 then, full of SEC programs that have one loss. Georgia, they're number 10. Oregon's number 9. Auburn's 8. Florida 7. Harrison, what jumps out to you here?
Obviously, you got Florida, Georgia in a couple of weeks, so that's an elimination game. Auburn,
world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Let's call it what it actually is.
Absolutely, Florida, Georgia down there in Jacksonville. Auburn, LSU this week should be a big one. Another elimination game in the SEC. Good opportunity for Auburn because I'm not sure people are sold on them. They went into Florida and lost that game. Could they bounce back? You want team chaos? That gives the SEC, 4 or 5 one-loss teams if Auburn beats LSU this weekend? I don't see it, though. Joe Burrow's playing extremely well, and they get this game at home. I'm taking LSU, Tom.
Now, I will let you guys know that there is a fake tweet out there saying Bo Nix isn't worried about going to Death Valley. That is fake news from a fake college football account. Report it if you see it. Bo Nix said nothing of the sort. He was very complimentary of Death Valley. Did not say it was going to be easy or anything like that. Speaking of LSU, they're number 2 in the AP poll. That's why we have number 2 there. But they're number 1 in our projected CFP rankings because, we value resume, not what happened, not how things were ranked in week 1.
Yeah, what we do here is the combination of resume metrics and eye tests as well. And I think they check all those boxes. That's why we've got them at number 1, and that's why we've got Ohio State at number 2. Good win over Cincinnati, 2 or 3 more quality wins, even though they're not top 25 wins, and they look like the most complete team in college football. They come in and behind LSU.
All right, folks, that does it for our college football playoff rankings.